Kirill Basin is running for Congress in Hawaii, and his campaign has chosen a rather memorable slogan: Fight, Aloha. In fact, fighting seems to be a recurring theme on the campaign website. There's living here, fighting here, and the mission statement is titled Fighting with Aloha. So when a video of Basin getting knocked unconscious on a Maui beach suddenly went viral, you can understand why the internet was interested. Because apparently, this is a congressional candidate who takes his campaign branding very seriously. The confrontation began with an argument on the beach, and the video shows Basin becoming increasingly aggressive before the situation turns physical. Basin pushes a substantially larger man, and from that point forward, his campaign for Congress takes a brief but extremely decisive detour into the world of hand-to-hand diplomacy. Basin goes down hard and very quickly becomes one of the most recognizable congressional candidates in America for reasons his campaign probably did not anticipate. And here's the part I find especially interesting. Once Basin is down, the other man stops. He doesn't continue beating him. He doesn't keep kicking him. He backs off and leaves Basin lying there. So while Basin's campaign website talks about accountability, cooperation, and acting with love, the guy who actually won the fight appears to have demonstrated a little restraint of his own.
Now, let's go back to Basin's campaign website, because this is where things get almost too perfect. Fighting with Aloha. That's right there on his political page. And then we have another line. We must act with love. Urgently. I'm sure the campaign staff had something much more peaceful in mind when they wrote that. Basin says he wants to be a portal for action for people who feel powerless, rather than another voice complaining into the void. Well, congratulations, Kirill. You have certainly given the internet something to act on. But the beach fight isn't the only controversy surrounding this congressional candidate. Basin has also faced a previous criminal case after authorities alleged that he entered a Maui County building while armed and brandished a firearm during a confrontation with employees. That's an allegation and criminal charge, not a conviction, but it's certainly relevant background when voters are deciding who they want representing them in Congress. And then there's the campaign's emphasis on real accountability, which brings us back to that beach. Political candidates usually spend enormous amounts of money trying to convince voters that they're calm under pressure, capable of leadership, and exactly the person you want in a crisis. Kirill Basin has apparently decided to provide voters with a much more candid demonstration. And honestly, I have to give him credit for one thing. Fight, Aloha is probably one of the most unintentionally appropriate political slogans I've ever seen. So here's the question for Hawaii voters. Forget the campaign slogans for a minute. Forget the polished biography. Forget the political promises. After seeing the video, the previous allegations, and Basin's own words about accountability and fighting with Aloha, what do you think? Is this the kind of candidate you want representing you in Congress? If you like stories that cut through the noise, expose the absurd, and let the facts speak for themselves, subscribe to the channel and come back for more, because this is where we help spread the light of truth and freedom, because truth conquers.